Hello everybody, welcome to part 17 of the Suzuki Bandit project, sponsored by Just Bandits. So this is it for series 1. We've had 16 episodes so far. We've got plenty done on the Bandit, and there's plenty more that needs doing, but we're going to save that for series 2. So just a quick one before we get stuck into the video. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see a season 2? Do you want to see some different styles of video? Have you got any suggestions for us? Let us know in the comments and we will take a read through them. We do want to do some more video content and we want to know what you guys want to see so we can make it for you. So if you don't tell us, we can't make it for you. So please give us some ideas, the sort of thing you'd like to see, so we can continue making some new video content for you. So let's have a recap of everything we've done. So in part 3 we rebuilt the carbs with a carb rebuild kit from Wiimoto as it was running a bit rough. In part 5 we did the valve clearances, which they were all spot on and pretty good, which we were pretty happy about. For part 6 and 9 we replaced the old slipping clutch with a new Gecko one that we'd got from Wiimoto that really has transformed the bike, and now it rides and pulls as it should without any clutch slip. So for part 7 we replaced the service items. We put a genuine air filter on, genuine oil filter and some butylene oil. I'd been told when I purchased the bike it had been serviced, but I just wanted to do it for my own peace of mind, and I'm really glad I did. So for part 8 I was outside of the workshop. Took a trip up north to Max Torque Cans in Bruzco. I can never pronounce it right. Up north, I went to get a full system that Max Torque Cans have just started making for the Bandit 1200s with a link pipe and end can that I'm really happy with. It's made really good horsepower on the dyno as well, which I'm super happy with. It's got good mid-range. The top end BHP is really good as well, so I'm really happy with the exhaust system, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and how it makes it run. So big thumbs up, Martin, thank you very much. Part 10, after doing the valve clearances I realised that the standard cam chain tensioner had gone all the way to the end of its adjustment. So just to get me through the summer so I can keep riding the bike, I put a manual cam chain tensioner in there just so I could do it and stop the rattle, and it has made a hell of a difference to how the bike runs. It really does make it much better, so I'm glad I got that from our favourite auction internet site, and that's one of those things that I wasn't expecting to do, but I'm glad I did it. So after getting the bike running real nice and going alright, I needed to pay the brake some attention. The rear brake had a bolt where the bleed nipple should have been, so I replaced it with a refurbished rear caliper. I also replaced the standard brake lines that had probably been on there from new with some Van Hill stainless braided ones. And then moving on to the front brakes, I replaced the brake lines again with the old original rubber ones, and I also replaced the aftermarket discs with some standard genuine Suzuki discs and Suzuki brake pads, which I didn't even know they sold. So yeah, quite impressed by that. Having genuine discs, I don't think you can do much better than that. I'm really happy with how well the brakes work with the standard discs and the Suzuki pads and the braided lines. The braking is so much better now. I didn't realise quite how bad it was until I put the new brakes on, and it really has transformed how well the bike stops. Before I thought it was okay, but just putting the new stuff on with the braided lines and bleeding it all up really has shown me how bad it was before. So I'm really glad I got that done. Part 13, again I got out of the workshop and I popped down to a local bike shop, bikes, trikes and stuff in Fengate, Peterborough, where Jay, the owner, let me go wild in his workshop and let me borrow his digital carb balancers, which I was very pleased to do. I probably haven't balanced a set of carbs in 5 or 6 years, probably longer, so it was good to do that again. And it's a bit like riding a bike, you sort of soon remember how to do it, but it's quite good to do it again and do it with some proper tools. So thanks, Jay, I do appreciate it. So part 14, we got a new rear shock on. The one that's been on there, I'm pretty sure has been on there from new. It's a little bit tired, so put a brand new Suzuki rear shock on there. Even though the old shock looked perfectly serviceable, putting the new one on there, you can definitely tell how it's lost its performance over the years. and I am glad that we've got that new one on there, so it handles how it should. Part 15, another one we went to Wiimoto for. We got a DID chain and some JT sprockets. Got some different size sprockets so I can play with the gearing a little bit, depending on if I'm doing some long journeys or if I'm doing some track days or doing some drag racing. I've got some different options there. Put that on. One of the things when I bought the bike, I thought the chain was on its last legs, which it was, so I'm really glad that's replaced. Getting that on there, lining it up. The previous owner had changed the gearing and changed the length of the chain, so just to get the standard length back on there with the sprockets I'm happy with. In the end, I went for a 14 tooth front sprocket and a 46 tooth rear sprocket, which is a gearing I've used on my previous Bandits, and it seems to work really well for me. So part 16, which was last week, we went to BSD in Peterborough to speak to Mark, get it on the dyno, do a power run, just see what it's running like, see what the air fuel ratio is like, just to make sure it's safe and it's not running too lean. And I was pleasantly surprised with the power output. I was sort of hoping to get over 100 horsepower, as it seemed like the engine was possibly a bit tired and, you know, it had a hard life, but turns out that it's actually making really good horsepower, so really happy with that. The gearbox whine that I've mentioned in the past, Mark just confirmed that for me, does sound a bit like a supercharger, so I'm going to look at replacing the bearings in the gearbox in Season 2. So I've done a recap of what we've done to the bike. Now my plans for the future, as it still needs some bits and bobs. I just thought I'd run through some of the things. The first thing that needs to be done is the oil cooler needs replacing. It has sprung a leak and it is leaking some oil out. I do need to replace it. Not sure if I'm going to go for a pattern item, second hand item, or even possibly get the one that's on there replaced, but it is something I need to do rather soon if I want to keep riding it. The next thing I want to do is ride it. I'm going to ride it till the tax runs out. That's my main plan. Get some miles on it this summer and enjoy it. And then over winter, I plan to give the bike a bit more of an overhaul and get it exactly how I want it. And some of those things include painting it. I'm not sure what colour I want to go with. I know I said I hated the green when I first bought it, but it is sort of starting to grow on me. I was thinking about painting it black, but I'm not sure. But one thing I do really need to do is powder coat the frame. It is quite rusty where it's lost some paint, so I just really want to powder coat it just to protect it. So the bike will be getting stripped down to nothing, just so we can prolong the life of the bike and keep it going for many years into the future. Something I mentioned earlier that we found out from the dyno day, need to replace some bearings in the gearbox. So again, when the bike's stripped down, we'll turn the engine upside down, we'll take the bottom half of the crankcase off and then have an investigation and see what needs replacing. One thing I'm going to do is replace some bearings on the bike as well. Gearbox bearings we just mentioned, head race bearings I think need replacing. Front end feels a little bit strange, and when I went to check how tight they were, the nut was barely done up, so they definitely need replacing. But that's something I'll leave until I strip the bike down completely to get the frame powder coated. Another thing I want to do is change the tail tidy. It's been chopped back a little bit and I don't think it looks very good, so what I'm going to do is possibly chop it a little bit further and actually make it flush with the rear panels, just so it looks level and flat and straight, and then mount the number plate myself. And my final thing that I'd like to do to the bike for next year, or ready for next year, is some more power. I know I've just dynoed it and it's made good horsepower on the dyno, but I just feel like I could do with a little bit more. So I'm going to look into the different tuning options available and see where we go with that. It could be an interesting path to go down. And finally, I'd like to see if you have any suggestions. Have you got any ideas you think I should do to the bike? Anything you've done to yours that's helped improve it, or anything at all like that? I'd love to hear what you've done or what you think I should do to this one. So that's going to be it for part 17 of the Suzuki Bandit project, sponsored by Just Bandits. That's the end of series 1. As I said near the start of the video, please let us know if there's some videos you want us to make or do. Let us know the sort of things you'd like to see, because we do want to carry on making some video content for you guys, so just let us know what you think in the comments. So yeah, it might be a little while until I see you, but we'll see you later.